Welcome to a poker vlog with a bit of a difference. Poker with kids.
I'm going to play all by myself. Me!
Yes.
Daddy! Peekaboo. Peekaboo.
Daddy! There you see?
Daddy! Daddy! Daddy!
Here's a poker vlog with a bit of a difference.
Me!
Poker with kids. Weekend was hosted at Southport Sharks. There's their little shark tank they have out the front, and there's just some shots of the venue set up, just overall the venue itself. One of the final table setups, had a few final table setups throughout the venue. This was a Battle of the Regions event that was held, something a bit different, and one of their freeze-out tournaments, I believe, and a separate area where they had the high rollers. This is early on, first break of the tournament, and as we get to the talking, a bit of scenery. Welcome back to Poker with Kids. This is vlog number 33 this time. Sitting with Maddie, sculpture at the Broadwater Parklands. And we're going to have a look at an event from the final ever Queensland APL 70k poker weekend. This time I wasn't actually playing in any of the, obviously being a sometime APL employee, wasn't playing in any of the 50 or 20k state champs or pro open. However, this time with the side events, they actually had something a bit more in my wheelhouse. They actually had a Royal Holdem event, $35 buy-in, managed to get 43 runners for the event. For those of you that don't know Royal Holdem, it's a variant of Texas Holdem, as the name might suggest. However, this time you're only playing with 20 cards on the deck, aces through 10s. So very different strategy-wise. I think one of the big things about the game is actually to be very disciplined. It's obviously very easy to sit there and go, oh look, I have 2 Broadway cards, so I'm going to play it, which literally happens every hand. But really it's about playing pocket pairs, high suited cards, and see what happens. But having said that, there were quite a few interesting things that happened during the tournament. So some things with Royal Holdem that you learn pretty quickly. Flopping the nuts is often not such a great thing to do. In a lot of cases, a straight can be in a negative free roll. Top set against a straight on the flop, the straight's free roll. The straight has a negative free roll. The top set's free roll and can make a full house. If you don't make a full house, then the board's going to run it as a straight. So that's where having top set and again playing big pocket pairs in particular can be a big advantage. Also another one is if you have a straight on board but there's 3 of a suit. If you have, whether you have the royal or not, if you have one of the cards, so for example it's ace king queen jack 10 with the ace king queen of hearts, and you have the jack of hearts in your hand with any other card, it doesn't really matter, you can put pressure on your opponents. You're the one knowing that you can't lose the hand, they're the one that has to guess, do you have the royal flush or not? And you can even spice things up and flush a jack of hearts and see what you can get a kind of reaction out of people. But a couple of little strategy points there. Again, things like 2 pair on the flop. 2 pair is actually the smallest winning hand you have by the river. Occasionally will hold up. However, it's one of these ones where you're always guessing if you do have 2 pair, because the board is either going to run out as a straight, in which case everybody's got straight, or there is going to be another pair on board. So there's the possibility of trips or a full house or that type of thing. So really you're looking to essentially make full houses, and obviously you want to make a bigger full house. You don't want to be on the wrong side of the full house. So again, this idea of playing big cards, big pairs are what you're looking for. Before I actually get to talking about how I went in the event, there's actually two spots that I wasn't actually involved in that I found really surprising. So the first one of these, we have a player who decided, this is at the 100-200 blind level, decided to raise to, I think it was about 7,200. Standard 36 times the blind raise. which then got a flat call from another player who was relatively short. We started with, I think, 30,000 or 35,000 in chips. And by this stage, the guy who called was down to just under 10,000, I think. So he scored 7,200 out of his stack. The flop comes down ace, king, jack, all hearts. The guy who was the pre-flop raiser bets enough to put the other guy in 2,500. The guy who had called snap calls. Chances are you can probably guess the caller's hand. He had pocket aces. However, the guy who made the raise to 7,200 had queen 10 of hearts. So very conveniently, he flopped himself a royal flush, and poor old mate with pocket aces and top set was drawing dead. The other hand, again, involved the same guy that had raised with queen jack of hearts. He put in a raise, a slightly more normal raise. I think it was around the 700 mark or something like that, again at the 100, 200 level. He had another guy who's re-raised him to around about 3,000, and he's open folded pocket aces. Yes, pre-flop, he's open folded pocket aces, and the guy who made the 3-bet showed him ace king offsuit. So some weird happenings. Some interesting spots that they got into. Managed to make a royal flush and got paid, made quads in a hand where I checked it to the river, it went runner quad, so I flopped bottom pair and went runner with a 10 to make quads. And then on the river I bet the minimum, only to get raised by the guy who was eventually the short stack in that aces versus queen 10 hand. When he was putting this big check raise, I've pretty much instantly re-raised him, and he's looking, he's going, are you sure? And then he's like, oh, I've made the bet. And then he's looked at his cards and going, oh, I thought I had the 10. I don't have the 10. I guess I fold. So yeah, fun stuff like that's happened. So this is where you make chips basically by other players either not knowing what they're doing or just making too many mistakes. As it turned out, ended up making the final table. Got there with a pretty decent stack. There was basically, obviously it's a 6-max format because there's 20 cards on the deck, so actually if you are playing 6-handed, you do actually use all the cards on the deck, so literally the river is the last card off the deck. So made the final table. There were basically 3 big stacks, of which I was one of them, and 3 short stacks.
And here we are at the final table in seat number 3 with a reasonably healthy stack.
Turn the other direction, we get Mike in the photo, in the video. So, final table, obviously down to 6. We're paying top 5. We decided to put out the idea of offering 6th place, take some money off 1st place, and offering it to 6th place. Everybody that made the final table made some money, and all players were happy with that. So happy to do that. So everyone that made the final table made the cash. Not only does that, I think, make the final table a bit friendlier, but it also, I suppose you say, incentivises people to play rather than just sit there and sort of knit it up trying to make a mini cash or something like that. So knowing that you've already cashed, people don't have to sit there and go, oh, am I going to fold this hand, am I going to play it, am I going to shove, that kind of thing. Doesn't always speed up the final table play a bit, and things actually went pretty well for me. Ended up getting down to the final 3. At this stage I was, I think, 2nd in chips. Got involved in a big hand with the chip leader, which I won. That gave me the chip lead for the moment. Actually then the other player knocked out the other guys who were heads up for the money, and unfortunately I just couldn't win the all-ins. So ended up coming 2nd. Very happy with that. So $300 from a $35 buy, can't complain about that. But again, this is another time where you've got APL doing something a little bit different. I think they're taking the lead a bit from QPC's run by WPT League, where they have been running Royal Holdem as a regular event for the last few. Also, the Australian Poker Tour, they've been running short decks, so Royal Holdem's kind of similar to that in some ways. That's going to wrap up vlog number 33, Royal Holdem with APL. glad to come second. Hopefully you enjoyed the vlog. Feel free to like, share and subscribe, and hopefully see you again soon.